waiting all day, hoping tomorrow Santa's sleigh will arrive with a reindeer leading the way. That's when all the world's children are gonna say.
We are in the studio with one of the premier actors currently on Broadway, who is in the Broadway cast of Jersey Boys. Tony nominated for his work in Next to Normal, currently in the Midtown Men, which we'll discuss later. And he's got a new Christmas song that's out right now called Waiting on Christmas. Please welcome J. Robert Spencer.
Thank you.
Do we have to put the J in there?
Yeah, J. Robert Spencer.
You like
is how
J.
I'm
Robert
known.
Spencer?
Yeah, that's how they know me from Jersey Boys on Broadway and from Next to Normal, and so yeah, I think so. But I do go by Bobby.
All right, let's just do Bobby and Zach. It's the
Sounds
easiest
good.
thing. It's easier as we get older. It's easy. We're lucky to go past Hey You.
Absolutely.
Hey,
yeah.
you over there. Nice. What's up, guy? How's it going there, friend? Hey, buddy.
Zach's such a great name, by the way, too.
It's easy to remember, but you also get caught easier. Because who did it? Zach. Oh, okay. I got to sit there like, I guess it was me. But we got this new single, Waiting for Christmas.
Waiting on Christmas.
Waiting on Christmas.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
And it is one of my favorite, and I'm not kidding, one of my favorite Christmas songs that I've heard in quite a while. What I really like about it, Bobby, is that it's your own creation. And before we talk about Waiting on Christmas, right, I just want to air my grievances. Let's pretend this is Festivus. For the most part, I feel a lot of the artists that do these Christmas records are just pulling from material because they want to make a quick buck, and they just are using the same old, same old. At least, if you put some effort into it, make something new, I admire that. Now, if you made a couple of new songs and then put some standards on it that you cover, fine. But I really think it's, to me, artistically cheating when you just do a complete album of Christmas standards where White Christmas and, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, songs that you can easily remember, Jingle Bells. I really, really, really like Waiting on Christmas. So tell us a little bit about this particular track.
Well, I think that a lot of most of what you said is very much like how my family is feeling towards the holiday music. And my son at the moment is 12 and a half, and my daughter is 11. And 2 years ago, we were listening to Christmas music, listening, of course, to the favorites that I loved growing up through my mom and dad. Because, when you're a parent, your music from your childhood's going to become the music of your kids' childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Christmas has been, whether it's Bing Crosby or Rosemary Clooney or Nat King Cole. Even the newer ones that we enjoy, like the Michael Bublé album, the Harry Connick Jr. style of Christmas songs, that has that old school vibe that just connects. I don't know. There's something about that sound that connects to home instantly, connects to Christmas instantly. And we were feeling the same if we were hearing newer artists play this older material. Not everybody. And I'm not saying that those artists and their versions of or their take of those Christmas classics weren't any good. They just weren't speaking to us personally.
Mm-hmm.
That's just all. And my daughter was the one that said, I'm not really liking these newer songs.
Sounds like we're kindred
Yeah.
spirits. But see, I think I did a worse job than you because I'm with my kid. I'm like, check this one out. It's from the Kinks. Father Christmas, give us your money. Those kind of Christmas songs. Because I don't know about you, but they start now this 24 hours of Christmas in September.
Yeah.
Now they've sort of changed it to maybe right around Thanksgiving up until Christmas.
That's what we do. We start on Thanksgiving, we go to Christmas.
Well, that's okay. It's better than what it used to be. But you can see where you want to drive your car into a tree after a while because it's the same old stuff. At least this is a new Waiting on Christmas.
Yeah.
It's brand new. You got an interesting orchestration.
Thank you.
So I just want to thank your daughter for encouraging you to come up with something new. How did that conversation take place? What did she exactly say? Because kids say funny things.
It was really that. We were, this music was playing. It was on, and we were walking around our home. And our children are very musical, so they play piano, and they've been at piano lessons for the last 3 years. So that was already in the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
That sound, they're playing. That piano sound was just constant. And I'm on the road with a 7-piece band, so I have this love for that arrangement and orchestration. So all that was in the air. I just didn't know it until she said, you should write a song, Daddy. Because she was like, if we're not liking these songs, we're not connecting with these songs, why don't you write one?
Yeah.
Literally is what it was. And I promise you, it was December 23rd. And I said, yeah, okay. And I sat down and I just started just fiddling. And I came up with that very first chorus. And when I got done with that hook, and almost every lyric was verbatim, when I started writing it to what I recorded. And when I got done singing that hook and that chorus of Waiting on Christmas, my daughter goes, "That's really good, Daddy."
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, when the kid says, because, kids they'll tell the truth. I remember one time I was on a diet and it wasn't too long into it, right? And my daughter, she goes, you look so thin. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So they say cute things, and it's good that her reaction was, that's really good.
Yeah.
So that must have made you feel better.
It did.
So you started out with sitting there where were you when you came up with the lyrics? What did that look like?
I was sitting down at our piano, and the piano was in the back of our home, and we have these huge, huge sliding glass windows that just look out into this big forest and backyard. And it was cold out. It was wintertime. And it was early in the morning. I remember it was early, and Joey the elf came to visit the kids. That's what it was. Joey the elf came to visit. And so, of course, we were up early. We turned on the music, and Joey left Rain this little note, and it just kind of happened that way. When the music was kicking, she read Joey. She was in the spirit. She gave me the message, and I sat down, and that's the picture.
And you were just waiting on Christmas and went from there.
It was December 23rd.
Cool.
It just kind of, I guess that's why it came out like it did.
Yeah, and did you come up with the lyrics first and then the orchestration?
I always come up with the melody always hits first. The melody always hits first, and then I start just saying oohs, ees, and ahs, and different things, just words just come out. Waiting on Christmas. And then I went, okay, I like that. Now what? Waiting all day? Because I am.
Yeah.
Now what? Well, you got to rhyme with the last line, don't you? Hoping tomorrow. Well, you got to get on there. What? Oh, Santa. Santa sleigh. I mean, literally, it was just like that. It was, swear it was like that. But then when it came to continuing with the writing of the song from that hook, when I knew that hook was it, then I go, okay, now what's next? And I really wanted to, and I did my best to convey the visualization, that storyboard of Grandma and Grandpa driving up that drive, snow angels, Santa, reindeer, children's choir,
What about the TV shows that you watch that time of year? Did they inspire you?
Oh, absolutely.
Which one?
Oh, well, when you go back to Bing Crosby and David Bowie, the classic drummer boy off of Bing's show.
Boy,
I can remember.
That one makes you cry, right? Yeah.
Seeing it when it was on TV in the moment with my sisters and my mom and dad. That was when I was around 7 or 8 years old, when I really started remembering everything was around 7. Those were my memories, and it was so thick. And, of course, it was Andy Williams or the Osmonds, man. Oh, it's just so much. Oh, just so many great. And, of course, the Christmas cartoons, whether it was
Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, or if it was one of my favorite animated, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, where it was the mice, the clockmaker, and Joel Grey did the voice for that. Yeah, anyway.
And I always liked, believe it or not, Christmas Carol. Scrooge. I just got all excited about that. I'm like, ooh, now we're really into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're talking with J. Robert Spencer, and you got your song Waiting on Christmas, which we're going to play for everybody really soon. It's out, available on Amazon. You can go to your website.
You can.
Which you can preview what it sounds like and then make your decision to buy and see what else you're doing.
It's on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play.
We were talking about writing a song and how you have this process and how that goes about. So let's say somebody who's an aspiring J. Robert Spencer, a little Bobby or a little Bobette, and she just wants to write her own song. So let's do a little songwriting 101. I've never done this before. Explain what the parts of the song, because some people don't know what a refrain and a verse is. And you'll hear this used as part of the nomenclature. And just a couple of quick tips about how to write songs. Because I think, as far as Broadway songs go, I believe I can write a Broadway musical about just about any subject. Right? Think about sitting at that microphone with Jimmy. We're talking about Christmas songs. Sooner or later, someone's going to stuff that stocking, and then we'll be singing all night long. See,
that was really good. That wasn't bad at all.
Not bad at all, right?
That was really good.
I think that the lesson to be learned here is that if you have a desire to do something, don't say you want to. Just go ahead and do it and let it fall where it may. And if you really have a passion for it, you just keep on with that. So
You do.
just a quick 101 on how to, like, what are the parts of the song? And we just did a sample or an example for people. But, you know, if you were to be a professor in front of a class, bunch of little kids in front of you right now, they're waiting on Christmas. And the teacher goes, "Can you tell us how you can write a song? How we can all write songs?"
Sure, I'll explain my process and how it's always worked for me, and it always is going to work for that individual and that individual artistic, vibe that they have inside. For me, it has always been the hook. I've always found the chorus first, and I have never meant for it to happen that way. And again, I never go into a song. I never have the lyrics prepared. I never look at it lyrics and go, I'm going to write a song to that. Everything comes out at once, whether I'm on the guitar or whether I'm just walking down the street. In fact, when my wife and I were getting married, I had to write our vows, and I was fumbling around and just fumbling with what I was going to say. And I went walking our dog, and all of a sudden it came to me in a song, and I ran home and I wrote our vows, and I wrote, I vow until the summer starts to fade away. I vow until the fall falls down. I vow until the winter night's no longer cold. I vow until the spring sprung out. And all of that was conveying seasons, longevity, age, forever. And that was the hook combined with the verse. That's just a crazy moment of that's really not a standard song. I'm doing that hook within the context of a verse and chorus together. But most structured songs, as we know, it's the verse, bridge, and chorus. And certainly that's how Waiting on Christmas is structured. You got the verse, you got that chorus that opens the song. Waiting on Christmas, waiting all day, hoping tomorrow Santa's sleigh will arrive with 8 reindeer leading the way. That's when all the world's children are going to say. And then we got to lead into the next, which is, the next storyboard of the verse. And we do. But then you're thinking, okay, now I got to get a bridge. You got to switch up the music now. You can't stay in this same mode, right? That's where the bridge comes in and elevates the song to the next level that you need. And then, again, you got to slam back to that hook that you want everybody singing in their car driving home. You want everyone singing when they're shopping for their Christmas, presents, and you want it when they're opening presents on Christmas Day. And like my friends have said, and my dear friend Adam, who is an extraordinary musician himself and who helped do the design cover art for Waiting on Christmas, said to me the first day he heard it, he said, "I like it. It's sticky." And I said, sticky? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it sticks
and
in
he
here.
said, yeah, it sticks in your head. And I went, oh, of course. But I hope that explained a little bit of the process.
And I can understand certainly getting a song stuck in my head, but it's a good kind of getting stuck as opposed to like Barney the Dinosaur getting stuck. Those Barney songs. Now somebody listens and goes, oh, I wish he wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. You'll have that stuck in your head as well.
Well, what a song to have in your head.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I find that most of the great songs that we've listened to growing up were written about 5 to 15 minutes tops.
Absolutely.
I can give you like an example. Paranoid by Black Sabbath, which has nothing to do with Christmas, but a great song. 2 minutes and 57 seconds or thereabouts. They took a lunch break, went to the bar, had a couple of burgers and beers, came back and finished the song.
Wow.
15 minutes.
I know.
That's all it took. Follow You, Follow Me by Genesis was another one. Mike Rutherford was in here. He goes, it took 5 minutes to write.
I just listened to that yesterday.
Yeah, so these, when you hear the story behind it, it's just mind-blowing.
Love it.
When it only takes 5 to 10 minutes. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Because some people take a lifetime to get that masterpiece, whereas, I think some of the best songs, we didn't think about it too much. Who are some of your favorite lyricists and artists that you listen to that you just say to yourself, wow, I wish I would have thought of that one?
Thank you for bringing that up because, I mean, come on, it started with Lennon and McCartney when I was a kid growing up. and my yellow station wagon with the wood paneling when we were driving. It's my dad's business. We had to drive from state to state to state to state.
Wow.
Moved around a lot as a kid, and there was a lot of 8-track stereo and a lot of car radio. And it was, I was born in '69, so this was a lot of driving around in the '70s. We were always listening to classic rock, and it was always the '70s that was booming on the radio driving down the highway. So it was Lennon and McCartney, for sure. And then I can honestly say later on down the line, when I was discovering my own musical, devices and things that I was clicking to, it really started with the Canadian trio Rush.
Oh, wow. All right.
No,
yeah.
really, when
Well,
I
no,
heard
that's good.
Tom Sawyer,
Yeah.
that's why I started playing drums. I looked at my mom. I was in 4th grade, and this is a true story. And we had just moved to Texas, and she was taking me to the pool to go swimming, and this song started. And I was like, what is this? Drops me off at the pool, picks me up 3 hours later, get in the car. The song comes on again. When we pull up in the driveway, the song ends, and I look at her and I go, I want to play drums. And she looked at me and went, okay. Like she just knew. She never said no. And I started playing drums right there. And so lyrically, Neil Peart, obviously,
Yes.
is the professor.
Oh, I mean, you picked the good one. I mean, his
Yeah.
drum kit is
Massive, right?
all over the place. I've never
I saw
seen
their
anything
last
like
tour.
it.
They're off the road now, after 40 years, but I saw their last tour.
I saw him at
pretty
Radio
amazing.
City Music Hall.
Mm.
I think I was sick afterwards from the concussion of the drums for 3 days. I couldn't hear. My head was ringing. My wife is a big-time Rush fan.
Oh, cool.
She is 14 years younger than me. So when she was a little girl in the 80s and all the other kids are liking, I don't know, you name it, Debbie Gibson, for example, she was the one kid with the Rush T-shirts and listening to all the Rush and the songs and the subject material that they would sing about.
Totally.
And it's really, they were one of the most fascinating trios I can ever think of.
Absolutely.
I think as far as writing songs, Neil Peart, by the way, does write most of the lyrics for the
He
songs.
writes all the lyrics.
I was always fascinated by Bernie Taupin.
Mhm.
Bernie Taupin, and
Great
then
one.
and then when for a while when Elton John was on his own, I'm like, Elton, get back with Bernie. And the writing process. Now I know that there was Rocket Man in the movie, and then you have the Bigot book about Elton John as well, Mark Bigot's book. But I think I have to look at it in my own perspective. What blows me away is the fact that some guy could sit there in one room, write a bunch of lyrics, and hand it to the other
That
guy,
is
and he
incredible.
comes up with the melody for it.
Yeah, that's a whole
even
other
even
system,
Lennon and
isn't it?
McCartney couldn't do that.
No.
It's just
Truly.
amazing to me.
Hey, but also just go back. I mean, we're talking lyricist, and I'm just talking like what I first grew up. But then as you start getting older, there's more layers in life, and you start realizing guys like Sammy Cahn,
Right.
writing the classics for Sinatra and Dean Martin and all those guys, And of course, and then you just keep moving forward, even with beautiful like Joni Mitchell. Like her amazing work over the years. So I don't know. I have so many influences on all ends of the spectrum when it comes to lyricists.
And it's amazing what kids bring to the table that
Mm.
they discover on their own. My daughter, for instance, she likes the Del Vikings, a song called Flat Tire. I'm like, wow, what did you hear of this one? And she likes these, I would say, car type of tunes,
Yeah.
or these road tunes.
Love it.
And it has to do with Cars, the movie. And if you go to California Adventure, they play all of this kind of highway songs. So you're hearing about Route 66, which is an amazing song. Do you know the story about Route 66, the actual song itself?
No.
Well, you're a little bit younger than me, but we probably watched the shows. Remember Emergency?
I remember Emergency.
Great
Absolutely,
show.
Absolutely.
Can't get enough of it.
Loved it.
Remember Dr. Early? Dr. Early was the guy with the white hair.
He was the guy with the
Yeah,
white hair. Right, the guy with the white
Brackett.
hair. Yes.
His real name is Bobby Troop.
Okay, yeah,
He
yeah.
was actually off-screen married to Dixie, who is whatever her name is, Linda. Well, I forget her name. Right?
I can see
Okay.
this. I can see
They're
this.
married off-screen, but she has a romantic interest with Dr. Brackett in the very beginning, which is really funny to me. He actually wrote. I wish I could remember Dixie's name. It's like on the top of my tongue, but I can't. He wrote Route 66. And Dixie was also a singer. She was married to Jack Webb and then divorced, and then she got remarried to Bobby Troop. So there we are watching Emergency, and one of the early things, Bobby Troop is at the piano making a song about Dr. Brackett, and then through a series of events, I found out, wow, he wrote that, and
Amazing.
and then wow. they were married and all of these oh wows. And my daughter, she like opened up a whole new world as far as music to me because I've been a rock jock my whole life. So I really didn't get too interested in some of those late 50s type of oldie acts because I have to concentrate on this over here.
Right.
But I like what kids bring to the table. Again, back to your kids inspiring you to write this song, Waiting on Christmas, which is fantastic. We're gonna definitely play it. Before we do that, we're with J. Robert Spencer. You're also a Broadway type of guy. And out of all of the performers, out of all the artists that I can think of, if you were to ask me, hey, Zach, would you rather be in the movies, on TV, or a Broadway star? I'd pick Broadway star because I think Broadway stars are the most talented of the bunch. And the physicality, they're also usually the more, I would say, closest to a professional athlete to me.
True.
So tell us how you ended up on Broadway.
Not waiting for the phone to ring, for
That's
one thing.
Good advice.
I have a great story I'm going to tell. Terrence Mann, famous Broadway star, won the Tony Award for Rum Tum Tugger and Cats, right? He's a little older than I am, but he is one of those iconic guys on Broadway, and he still just kills it whenever he's in a show. So at some point, years ago, there was a rock opera version that he wrote of Romeo and Juliet. He used Shakespeare's libretto, and he did music around it. And the music, I swear to you, Rock Jock, was Metallica meets Deep Purple meets Queensryche meets Rush. It was insane. And then these incredible ballads. It was beautiful. Should have gone to Broadway, didn't. But there I was, long hair at the time, right?
A long hair, tie-dye wearing hippie freak.
At the time. And I was singing rock and roll, and I knew Shakespeare. And I could not get into the audition. So I even crashed the audition, and the casting director still wouldn't let me in. So I waited for 4 hours at the end of the hallway all day. And then when the auditions were done, Terry came out, right? He came walking down the hallway, and I jumped out from the corner. I said, Terry, man, I'm Bobby Spencer. I sing rock and roll. I can do Shakespeare, and I should be, I really want to get in and audition for your show. And he said, you come in tomorrow at 12 noon, all right? I'll put your name on the list. Now we're in the elevator together. And he says, Bobby, he says, I really respect what you're doing. He said, you know why? He said, when I was, roughly your age, I wanted to go in for Cats, and they wouldn't see me. So I flew to London and crashed the audition and got the role of Rum Tum Tugger.
Awesome.
And so that's my beginning friendship with Terry Mann, and it started with an inspiring story of waiting at the end of the hallway to audition for something, So it ended up leading my life to my first Broadway show was Sideshow. I met my wife in that show. I worked with Alice Ripley in that show, and who later on I worked with in Next to Normal. She and I got nominated together for Tony Awards for playing husband and wife together. And in between that, I was cast as Nick Massey in Jersey Boys in the original cast. But prior to all of that stuff, I was always working in New York as an artist doing workshops of this new musical or that new play or that new musical or that new play. I was on the road, did a rock concert version of Tommy or did Finian's Rainbow that was Broadway bound and then ran out of money and never made it. So there was all these hills and valleys that I was going through. And in the time that all that was going on, I was in the subway with my acoustic playing guitar, collecting unemployment checks in between, and people throwing money in my guitar case at the time.
So were you ever on Wagon Train?
No.
And you laugh because you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Everybody was on Wagon Train, even Ronald Reagan. I watched this like, wow, who's going to be on next? I know why my daughter watches it. She's 19. That one character is always taking his shirt off at one point. I know that's why she does it. But, yeah. So what was some of your early acting gigs?
How early? Like childhood early?
All right, good. You were a childhood actor?
I was in fourth grade. That was the start of it all, and not only drumming, but the huge auditorium said one day the teacher was holding auditions, and she said, we're holding auditions. Who wants to audition? It was like 300 kids in this auditorium, and I raised my hand, and I got the role of Alligator in Really Rosie, and that was the start of it all. And then I started modeling, and then I started, doing commercials there in Texas, and anyway, it just led to this journey that I'm on now. Yeah.
It's fantastic. You're also part of the Jersey Boys, Next to Normal, as you said. And now you're in the Midtown Men. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
We've been touring. We formed this corporation, the Four Original Jersey Boys. The guys, we played Frankie and the Four Seasons on Broadway. And 10 years ago, we formed the Midtown Men. And we've done over 900 concerts across the country. We've gone to China, Italy. We've opened for Bruno Mars at this gentleman's birthday party in Napa Valley.
All right.
I
Well,
mean,
there
crazy
you go.
gigs
Yeah, that's
like
good
that.
stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But performing arts centers, symphony halls, and we're called the Midtown Men, and we do Mamas and the Papas, the Turtles, the Zombies, the
Nice.
Rascals, the Monkees, the Beatles, the Beach Boys, and of course Frankie and the Four Seasons.
Got to throw some kinks in there. Early kinks. I'm
I
not
know.
talking about
Hey,
Father
tell
Christmas.
me, man. I've been telling everybody. You really got
Sunny
me.
afternoon.
No one listens to
How about
me.
that one? I
That's
got
a
a
good
big
one.
fat mama trying to put the squeeze on me.
Hey.
And my daughter would play that for her mom. I'm like, oh my gosh, Soph, don't play Sunny Afternoon for your mother.
My daughter loves actually When I'm 64. That's one of
Will
her.
you still need me?
Oh.
Will you still feed me?
When we
I'm
were traveling
64?
across country on a vacation, my kids were still, young kids. Rain and Getty both. Getty, we named our son Getty after Getty
That's-
Lee. Okay.
There you go.
So,
that's all right. I know
Rain-
a guy, he named his kid Jet after the New York Jets.
Yes. But Rain kept saying, Daddy, will you turn on that Beatles song again, please, When I'm 64? I mean, there's something about the arrangement, the
The
woods
whole-
and the arrangement. She just connected with it so well.
I don't ever think we'll ever see another Beatles.
No way.
There's just no way. I mean, who knows what the future will
Yeah.
bring. But I do appreciate the fact, and we talked about this off the air. I want to thank you for sharing a little bit of your faith with you because it's so important. I deal with a lot of people who are in the entertainment industry, and I think a lot of their problems could be avoided if they invested a little bit in spiritual development so that they wouldn't go down the wrong path to begin with. So I appreciate you for sharing that with you.
Thank you.
With
Me
us.
too.
Now, how can anybody get a hold of you to check out what you're up to? You got your website. So I'll let
Yeah.
you talk about that.
Well, it's nowadays it's kind of easy, isn't it? Just it's so this internet the kids got going on today.
You kids, get on the
You
machine.
kids. That's jrobertspencer.com. All contact info's there, and if you and the information for all the downloads that you can get that you can acquire waiting on Christmas is there. iTunes, Amazon, Spotify. What am I forgetting? Google Play. And it's a website that's very informative. It'll just let you know where I'm at. You can also get me on Twitter. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, J. Robert Spencer.
Why don't you just let your kids handle that?
I have thought about it. I'm not joking. I thought
I've
my
done that
son's
with-
so good at
Yeah.
it that I thought I should give him a job as handle this Instagram account, kid.
That's what I did. That's what I did with my daughter. In fact, there's a promo that I have on the radio. Zach's on Instagram. There's no way he's doing that. I'm like, you're right. It's my daughter. I'm not even getting involved with any. It doesn't make any sense. What can I do with that? You send out pictures?
I know.
I don't understand. Here's a little fact about you before we go. And we got to
Sure.
actually spend a little time on the making of the song and the kids that are involved.
Love
This
it.
is really important.
Yeah,
but
it is.
you went to Shenandoah University, which means that's off of 81, right?
You're
in,
right.
Virginia.
Winchester, Virginia.
One of the most amazing areas of the country. Every
beautiful.
time I'd ride through there on my way to a NASCAR race in Martinsville,
Yeah.
with, unbeknownst to
Martinsville.
me, on the way back, transporting moonshine that somebody put in my trunk, apple pie and blueberry. Yeah, crazy. Some
No
old
way.
lady in Martinsville over the hill supplies the whole. Well, I shouldn't
Shush
talk about
up.
it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I better not talk about
Listen to that.
Yeah, but how about that? If I'm
I
like,
love that story.
why did you let him put the moonshine in the back of the car? She goes, what's wrong with that? I go, if I get pulled over,
That's why.
I'm going to go to prison forever. They think I'm transporting illegal, Anyway, it's part of our culture to be able to make your own stuff. You're just not supposed to distribute
You're not
it.
supposed to distribute
That's
it.
all.
No.
But the Shenandoah Valley is just
Isn't it gorgeous?
amazing,
I know.
inspirational. And when I hear, oh, Shenandoah, I get a little weepy-eyed. Yeah.
I had a great
Winchester-
time there. You know,
Winchester Cathedral. blah,
They,
blah, blah.
I was lucky enough that I received an honorary doctorate from them back
Yeah.
in
So
2009.
you're the
I'm
doctor.
actually Dr. Bob.
Yep, I'm Dr. Zach. I like to play doctor on the
Yeah.
radio. Yes.
And the one thing, you probably were going to lean into it, but we should mention about Waiting on Christmas that the proceeds, a small portion of the proceeds of the downloads of the song is going to go towards our son's school to help out with the financial aid department.
Okay.
So that's kind of a great giving incentive, with a song like this. You download it, not just for your pleasure and just listening at home and enjoying it, but it's doing some good, which is great.
That's fantastic. What's the name of the school and what's the website? for the
St.
school?
John the Baptist in Milwaukee, Oregon, and
Nice.
the financial aid department is actually called Annual Appeal. And if
Great.
you want to go there directly and donate, you can, but we are doing a small proceeds from the Thanksgiving until Christmas of this of the downloads of this.
I think that's very important.
Yeah.
That every single business plan, if you truly are a good American, Okay, let's just
Yeah.
put it. If you truly are a good American and you really do believe in capitalism, I would urge everybody that's starting a business always take about 5 to 10% and give it to charity. If your kids are involved, make sure that they understand that they have their responsibility, because there are other people that don't have all the breaks, they don't have all the opportunities, and it's our job to love our neighbors. Simple, right?
Hey,
So
yeah.
I really applaud that once
Thank
again.
you.
So you can go to the website, and the kids are in there. Talk
Yeah,
about the
there's.
kids.
We were able to. I really heard a children's choir when I did this song. I knew it needed it, and Saint Agatha girls choir joined us on this recording. We actually recorded the entire song in Minnesota in my tour manager's recording studio. But the girls, the choir, was recorded in the cathedral in Saint Agatha in Portland, Oregon. So it's really got that wonderful layer of spirituality in there as well.
Fantastic. And without further ado, which means goodbye,
Yeah.
right? I never understood that. Let us now play Waiting on Christmas.
Waiting on Christmas, waiting all day, hoping tomorrow Santa's sleigh will arrive with a reindeer leading the way. That's when all the world's children are gonna say, waiting on Christmas, wish it were time to start opening presents, start drinking wine, seeing Grandma and Grandpa driving up the drive as we celebrate Christmas, as we celebrate life. Oh, Christmas always brings us together 'cause we all feel the love of the same. Oh, laying on the snow, making angels so real, they should all fly away. Oh, bringing us peace and joy and a couple of toys to play. Faith, love, and hope, and Happy New Year. While we're waiting on Christmas, waiting all day, hoping tomorrow Santa's sleigh will arrive with a reindeer leading the way. That's when all the world's children are gonna say, till then we're waiting on it. I'm waiting on Christmas. Oh, Sinatra's daddy snow is on the low and the mistletoe is working just fine. Oh, children lie in bed and can't sleep, dreaming about what Santa's leaving behind. Oh, sleigh bells ring, choir sing as we wait for Christmas Day to arrive. Faith, love, and hope, and Happy New Year. Oh, faith, love, and hope, and Happy New Year. While we're waiting on Christmas, waiting all day, hoping tomorrow Santa's sleigh will arrive with a reindeer leading the way. That's when all the world's children are gonna say,